We are here to speak on usability, security, and performance. Why companies choose Sitefinity over WordPress. This webinar is brought to you by Sitefinity, our premium partner Visus, and our special guest Chumash Casino. So let's jump in. All right, to start off, we have the agenda and we'll do introductions. We'll do an open discussion with the project overview, a demo, and the Q&A. So introductions. I'd like to thank our special guest, Michael Armenta. He's from Chumash Casino. Michael Daoud, CEO of Visus LLC. Jonathan Reed and myself, Charlene Sani, both from the Progress Sitefinity team. Now I'd like to turn it over to Michael that is going to start off the webinar. So Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Charlene. It's great to be with you, with Michael, with Jonathan, and everybody here that's with us for the webinar. As Charlene said, my name is Michael Daoud. I'm the founder of Visus LLC. We are a Sitefinity premier partner and champion. We've been working with Sitefinity for over a decade, and we love it, and our customers love it as well. We help companies transition to Sitefinity and then provide support for it. So before we begin, we'd love to have people just post in the questions where you guys are logging in from. We'd love to know where you are. I'm in Santa Barbara, California, as well as Michael Armenta. And Jonathan, where are you calling in from?
Well, I am trapped in my dungeon with my friend King here. I'm sure you all want to know what my cat's name is on my lap, but I'm in Indiana, in the Northeast.
Charlene?
Great. I'm from the Boston area today.
Okay, so we're covering all ends of the country in the middle here. Right? So wonderful. All right, well, let's get started as people plug in where they're logging in from. Michael, it's great to see you. Tell us a little bit about your role and about the casino.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first off, thank you guys very much for having me. It's a real opportunity. I love sharing these stories. So this is going to be great. My name is Michael Armenta. I'm from the Chumash Casino Resort and Chumash Enterprises. We are located actually just north of Santa Barbara in Santa Ynez, California. I've been with the casino for, with the enterprise for about 21 years. The casino has been around since, the casino resort has been around since '94. We actually just celebrated our 30th anniversary.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very cool. All right. And tell us a little more about the websites that you're currently hosting in Sitefinity.
Yeah. So we have 3 sites now in Sitefinity, hopefully soon a 4th. We have shumashcasino.com. We have shumashcareers.com and Chumash CI, which is shumashcapitalinvestments.com. The casino, it's definitely our largest, most robust site, but all 3 sites all sit on the Sitefinity platform.
Excellent. And about how many visitors do you get per month at least? I know the casino is the largest one out of the 3.
Yeah, the casino gets about 140,000 visits a month. It does spike at times, especially when we have different things going on, but it averages about 140. Our careers site is our shumashcareers.com. That's our hiring website. And that one gets anywhere from 5 to 10,000 a month. We're actually in a fairly small area where we're located. So Santa Ynez is only about 7,000 people. But yeah, all the sites really get good traction.
That's great. Excellent. All right. And, our focus here today is about moving from WordPress to Sitefinity. What were the primary reasons that led you to consider moving from WordPress to Sitefinity?
Well, we've been with Sitefinity for quite a while. I couldn't tell you the actual years, but the initial decision was really led by ease of use and functionality. It was recommended to us by a couple different partners, one being you, Michael. And it was really a great move. When we demoed the product, we were looking for ease of use, something we can manage in-house, aside from major updates to the website, but something that we can manage in-house. The flexibility of the platform was really a huge bonus to us. And yeah, we just, we've seen it through multiple iterations. It's a great, very flexible platform, and that really is what led the decision.
That's great. Yeah, I know we've implemented it together over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Many revisions and versions of it as branding changed and functionality changed. So that's great. When we look at WordPress to see, WordPress, obviously there's a place for it in the marketplace. There's a place for Sitefinity as well. And one solution fits for some people and Sitefinity fits for others, especially mid-level enterprise companies like yours. What challenges or limitations did you experience with WordPress that Sitefinity was able to address?
Like I mentioned, one of the primary reasons we switched over was ease of use. I don't have a web background. I'm a marketing guy, advertising and media. Started out with social, but this project, when it came about, when it got kind of handed to me, the decision was made based on ease of use and our internal ability to update. I don't have to go to an IT team or somebody knows how to write HTML. I can make all the updates myself. That was one of the main reasons. The other reason was, if like you mentioned, Michael, we've been on this platform for 10 years. And with that 10 years, most of the time sites will see different iterations of themselves and they will change and grow and they'll move platforms and everything will change. Well, we've been able to do that all within the Sitefinity platform. So it's been really great to grow with us, whether we're changing the overall color palette of the website or the fonts might change a little or something like that. The site has not become out of date and it's over, it's 10 years old. So it was really great when we first signed on to say, okay, we're not going to have to make a major investment in the future. It'll be small incremental investments in the website over time just to keep it up to date. Functionality has always been there. One of the other reasons was some of the ways we train employees. So we don't have to, when we switched, we wanted to make sure that anyone could really jump in and use it and make a change. The site is really ever changing. We make updates to it almost every single day, whether that update be as small as change in verbiage on the site or as large as creating landing pages and redirects and everything like that. So it's extremely functional and easy to learn and train.
Yeah, excellent.
Michael, I want to drill in on one quick point here. You mentioned you've been on Sitefinity for 10 years, which is absolutely amazing, and of course, thank you for that. You mentioned you're able to grow with Sitefinity, and you used the term multi-site, and you mentioned you have 3 sites but coming on 4. So I think one of the things to point out about Sitefinity is your ability to grow with your organization without having to learn something new. How have you grown over the course of the 10 years, aside from just content changes? You started with, if I have a little insider knowledge, obviously, but you mentioned you started with 1 site and now you're at 3 and you're looking at 4. What quick details can you share about that particular process?
So ultimately is what we do is we have multiple, way more than 3 websites for all of our different entities. If you notice, I mentioned we were Chumash Casino Resort, but also Chumash Enterprises. We have a couple hotels, a couple office buildings, stuff like that. And over time, when we make the decision a website has become obsolete, it's a pretty easy, let's put it in Sitefinity, and we can have everything in there. The fonts will be set. Everything with the multi-site will be set. I'll show you guys in a little bit exactly how that works, well, at least to the best of my ability, because it's pretty simple. But yeah, whenever it comes time to update a website or do a major overhaul, we pretty much instantly go to, the first question is, okay, are we going to drop it on Sitefinity? And it's really not a question anymore. The careers website was, we have almost 3,000 employees just in the local area, in a small area too. So that career site had to function appropriately. It had to be easy to update. We have to constantly make updates to it just because there's different job fairs and everything like that. I do it all on the Sitefinity platform, pretty much from a drop-down menu. So the ease of use and functionality of it make it a very easy question to ask when it comes time to put a new site or design a new site. We just put it on Sitefinity and go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Great. Yeah, and I know one of the things that we've been talking about too, that we've helped other customers with, is localization and translation of the website. And that's one of the nice things that I like about Sitefinity. At least there's some connectors that can go in there to be able to translate a website and save those that translated content in the database. So it's crawlable, searchable by the search engine. So it helps SEO in those different languages. And I think, we're talking about doing that in Chumash careers because, you go to a broader audience for jobs. And so that could be helpful there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can you share with us, Michael, some of the specific security concerns you or IT had with WordPress when you were using it?
Yeah, well, WordPress, a lot of the updates were, there's constant updates to WordPress. But one of the concerns were that we stayed on top of them and then nothing broke, and all the different widgets that you can use on WordPress were, up to date and met our security standards. Especially now more than ever, it's become a topic of conversation. We even have to go through security training for emails and stuff like that here. So it was really great when, even back then, even 10 years ago, the security really wasn't an issue. The updates were not an issue because it's not like WordPress. We still have a couple sites on WordPress and they're great. They function. But at the same time, when updates are made to them, something happens to where I have to engage somebody other than myself. And, at times that's not oh, wait, let me fix it, because I can, pretty much do all that within Sitefinity. Whereas WordPress, I have to go out to our IT team or bring in a third party to help bring those sites up to date.
Okay, great. And in terms of website performance and scalability, what improvements have you noticed since migrating to Sitefinity?
Yeah, so the performance of it, we have actually never had downtime. In 10 years, we have not had downtime with SchumashCasino.com, that one being our largest site. Now, being that we are a casino, we have entertainment acts. There are times when we will put 2 or 3 acts on sale at the same time. Now, pending who it is, you can have a huge influx of visitation to the site. It very easily handles that, and it's able to scale accordingly based on the visitation. We also, when we launch those acts, we're very aware of it, so we do monitor it. But at the same time, when you go from 140,000 a month in visitors to 140,000 in the first hour, it's definitely a sudden influx in visitation, and things can happen. So
yeah,
it's great that it's great that we really don't have to worry too much about it, even though we're still on top of it. We just like to ensure that the customer gets that experience that we feel they deserve. We want them to have that flawless, seamless experience.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and if I may add to that, one of the beauties too of Sitefinity being, having Sitefinity Cloud, it will auto scale, and that's another nice thing. So when you do have large spikes, rather than having a big beefy server waiting for those spikes once or twice a year, you have a properly calibrated server, and then with auto scaling, you can support those high traffic days very easily. So,
yeah.
Not to mention a content delivery network that also comes with our cloud offering, and many other security compliances like SOC 2 comes with the application, HIPAA compliances, ISO compliances, and many other ones that I have sometimes a hard time remembering them all. Again, security is definitely something that we tout in many different ways. So,
and I know that's key for highly regulated industries. I know casino industry is regulated, financials, healthcare. So those things come in very handy for that. Okay, awesome. So I know we talked about ease of use. Let's talk about the actual user interface in Sitefinity and the content management experience, how it's been different from what you were used to in WordPress. Can you share with us a little bit of that, and maybe we can get into a demo too at some point?
Yeah, definitely. I'll pull up my screen in a second here, but I want to just talk to that because I think it's really important to note. Earlier when we were talking about it, I mentioned that it's a very easy platform to use. Now, here's the thing: I'm the director of advertising and media. I'm not a developer. I just don't, and nor is my staff. Now, the great thing is about this product is it is so easy to use. It took me about 30 minutes to train 2 different internal people to make regular updates to the site so that I don't have to be in there at all times making updates. And these are content changes, loading images, just stuff like that, or the creation of landing pages actually is a really big one. But it's a very trainable platform. And I'll walk you through some things right now. let me share my screen.
If you don't mind, I think you shared with me something pretty cool where you have someone on your team. You said you trained them. That person didn't know HTML or anything like that.
Yeah.
How long did that training take for him to come up to speed and help you with this?
So the initial training took about 30 minutes. The product is very user intuitive. So, and you'll see it, but it's very user intuitive. So the initial training really was only about 30 minutes. It was more so how to log in and where to just look for minor things. If you're looking to change pages on a website, it's a very simple click. And the great thing is sorry, I'm working on the wrong screen here. The great thing is it's so user intuitive, and that's what made it so easy to train someone on. Now, the nice thing is they can also jump between websites here. Right now, I am on chumashcasino.com. I'm also on our preview network, so I'm not making any changes to production. But with this little drop down right here, I can go to our capital investments. I can go to our career site. I can make changes to all those different sites very, very easily. And over time with training, it's funny because instead of having re-up training sessions where, I'm going to teach you how to do something else and it's going to take 30, 40 an hour, right? It's literally one-off questions that most people come in with who have access to the sites to make changes. It's wait, I forgot how to do this, or how do I do something that they've never done before? And it's even myself, if I've never done it, it's very intuitive to make changes to. As you can see here, I'm in the preview site on the Sitefinity interface to make changes to the site. The site we're looking at right now is our casino website. And there is a lot of information on a lot of different pages. So to make changes to things like this is all we have to do. It's really simple. I mean, I'm in Chumash Casino pages, and I can just go to the home screen, go to the home page, and very, very simply make changes. Now, again, I'm on preview, not on production.
And I can explain that to people a little bit here.
So every change that we make, we do it on preview so that we can actually look at it first before we push it to, the live site. Due to the fact that visitation is so high, at least I think, in my realm it is. Since we do get such high visitation, we like to make all those changes, and we'll get into it too, where we can schedule them and do everything like that. But the changes are super easy to make, and we can let them sit there until we are ready to publish them to production. One thing that is great to note here, I'm on the homepage, and this is just a standardized content block. Within that content block, I have everything preset. So I have my headers. I have my just regular paragraph text. The font is preset. Sizes, I can change sizes if I need to. And then if you really need to, you can get in here and edit the code. The great thing is I'm on the casino site right now. If I go back here and go to, say, our careers website, all the fonts, the color palette, everything is changed. So you don't have to remember a color code. We don't need to know if it's AF142E or something like that. It's really great, and it's very, very easy to use.
Helps you maintain brand and all that across your organization, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And when you have multiple websites that you're running through this platform, or a parent brand with multiple sub brands underneath it, we're a branded house, not a house of brands, as we say in marketing. We have that parent brand that really directs all decisions and sizes and everything, and colors, everything you can imagine. Well, we can switch between websites. Everything's preset. The headers are different here. You notice this is a different color. It indicates it here. So it's really great functionality to have.
Right.
And that way, whomever is helping you make updates, they're not going to they can stick with that brand guidelines.
Correct.
That's already been set.
Yeah. Some of the other great things, you can look right now, we're still in careers, but I'll go back to casino just to show you. The amount of pages we have created. Now, this is just the basis for the casino site right here.
And the way you're looking at this, Michael, I think to explain to everybody if they haven't seen Sitefinity before, you're pretty much looking at the way the navigation is also set up with the sub pages and all that, right? To make it easy for your team to update. And so visually, it's super easy to follow.
Yeah, you'll notice, I mean, we have entertainment, resort, casino, dining, promotions, club. Okay. It's all here, and all the sub pages of it are here too.
Yeah.
And I mean, room types are even right here, and it's all very, very, very easy to understand.
Yeah.
For anybody just jumping into it. And as I go down, you can see actually how many different pages we have that are, linked throughout the site. There's special promotions and like the Wednesday hot seat or the mega jackpots or the Chumash Uplay, Wheel of Winners. They're all separate landing pages that we've developed that are all linked from the website.
Very cool. Could we show the audience how you manage promotions, Michael? This is something I think on your old website, you have to manually go through and update each and every page with promotions.
Yeah.
When they're updated. And now with a promotions management module in Sitefinity, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, it definitely does. And that was the great thing about having someone figure this out to where it was easy. So you'll notice right here, this is our promotions area. Now, to casino, promotions are what you really focus on. So you want to get this area and all these promotions that we run as much exposure as you possibly can. So it doesn't make sense just to have them on the promotions page. We also have them on the home page down. It's quite a bit of scrolling, but down here. And the nice thing with this is I mean, there's even more of them. The nice thing with it is in order to make changes to one of those, I don't have to go to every single page. That widget is literally on every single page of the website. I think there's like 6 pages it's not on, and they're like legal pages, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when I make changes to a promotion, I just go to one centralized area. And you'll notice, you guys saw this image. Okay. It is linked to this. And it says, welcome to the driver's seat of freedom, right? We're on the homepage. Welcome to the driver's seat of freedom. We are actually going to edit that. And we're going to have it say, welcome to the seat of freedom. I'm going to save it.
And in here, you're also setting the start and end date as well for that promo.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. This one's going to be coming off on 9/15. We also have a repository of a lot of the other stuff that we've run. You'll notice like this one's off. This is off. This is coming off, but they all have start and end dates.
That's great.
So if I come back here, it still says welcome to the driver's seat of freedom until I refresh. And now it says welcome to the seat of freedom. Now the great thing is this has taken place across the entire site. So I can come back to the promotions page and welcome to the seat of freedom. So it's done that on the promotions page, the home page, the entertainment page. It's on the resort page. It's on the casino page. It's everywhere. It was that simple. Now, luckily it's only on preview. So the customer's not seeing this because, well, if we're missing that word, it's, goes against brand. It goes against some of our copywriting basics. So
that's awesome. So I would like to dig into the preview piece a little bit more as well, since we're here. So here you've got a management module to update the promos as you need. You can set some up for the future without having to worry about turning them on the day of, right?
Yeah.
Or turn them off when they're expired. But once you have them in preview, is that giving you and the team an opportunity to review, to make sure it's right before it goes to production?
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of the, I wish I had a landing page that wasn't on production yet that I was ready to push.
No problem.
But ultimately, I mean, we can stage everything here. So we just hit essentially the end of the month. Our promotions run on a weekly basis. So we had a bunch of new landing pages launched yesterday, actually. I think there was 3, and a lot of the links changed throughout the site, everything like that. Well, that all was sitting in preview until we were ready to do it. We actually completed all the pages the first part of last week. The nice thing is we could go to here and we can go to site sync. Now, when I sync them with production. Okay, you can see that's the one change I made. I just have to go in here, schedule the sync, everything will happen. And I'm not going to do it, but everything will happen in accordance to when I set it. So I don't have to be up at midnight when one of the day changes, or our promotions end at 11 p.m., one of them.
Yep.
I don't have to be up then to make the changes to the site, nor does any of the
Right.
people who are in here.
And what do you use to sync from preview to production?
Sorry, say that one more time.
What are you using to sync from preview to production? You're using
right. Yeah, it's all. This is all within Sitefinity. It's all functionality within Sitefinity. It's their site sync module, and that allows me to keep them, keep preview where I need it, and then push updates as needed and schedule updates as needed.
Yeah, and I think from another part, I think a lot of our clients use site sync, which is a really nice module, because you don't want to be doing things directly on production, because there's a risk there. You put somebody right? You want it to be approved on a preview server and then pushed out. So, the more hands that touch production directly, the higher the risk of something going wrong. And so site sync helps eliminate that and keep production risk free from that end. So we love that module for that piece. So,
yeah, definitely.
Awesome. It also gives you a future view, right? So you were talking about promotions earlier and how they present themselves on multiple pages. So you may want to walk through what a visitor might see of those different promotions, or maybe you do have 2 or 3 pages that work together. It's really a future state of your content, right, Michael? I mean, you can walk through a whole new marketing promotion, being it displays on this page, that page, and another page. And you might also change the navigation in that process or something, right?
Yeah.
You could see the whole thing before you even sync it to production. Now, albeit you could do workflows and other things in a production environment, but you have to then individually share preview links. And it's just not quite as simple as saying, hey, here's this website that we've restricted only to our internal users. You can walk around, you can see what you want, you can try it, you can publish it, and then Michael, maybe you're the final improvement as the director of advertisement and media. You might say, okay, yep, I reviewed it. I'm the one who's going to sync it tomorrow at noon, or even schedule it for that matter.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Very cool. And Michael, I remember you mentioned something to me when we were talking about getting ready for the webinar, where since the migration, you've implemented some new functionalities or features that were not easily feasible on WordPress, I believe, including during COVID. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So during COVID, we actually closed down I have it written on my whiteboard. Sorry. we closed down for 90 days. It's a funny thing to note. And when we did that, unfortunately, the business went completely dark. We have about 8,000 to 10,000 people through the doors a day. So there's a constant communication that is needed with the customer. The nice thing is during the time period when we had to close our doors because of the pandemic, we were actually, a lot of people wanted to call in. Well, we didn't have a call center. We were closed. So we were able to go into Sitefinity, and let me mind you, I'm not a web guy. I don't have any experience doing anything like this. And we were able to create, forms, various contact forms. And I was able to get in there and figure it out. Some of them are still in play today. And the great thing is it's the buttons, the links right here, but the creation of those forms, you can actually see some of them, if I remember where they are. But here we go, tax form requests. This is still live. I did this back when it was COVID and nobody was here. No one was around to help with anything. So we were able to create this page. Oh, I did take down the form, but we were able to create the page, and there is an associated form with it that people could literally just email in and request tax information. There's a verification process for legal purposes, everything like that. But that functionality was so great to have. We also had a general contact form that has evolved over time. But in a time when I didn't really have anybody I could rely on, we were able to rely on Sitefinity to actually answer a lot of those questions that would have, in the past with other providers, we wouldn't have been able to do this. We wouldn't have been able to service our customer this way.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Great. So we heard about, how easy it was to get your team up to speed, how easy it was to work in this, the multi-site, having multiple sites all in one place and moving more here. So it sounds like your journey has been great with Sitefinity. And would you recommend it to other customers currently using WordPress?
Let's just say this: I wouldn't be on here if I wouldn't. No, it truly has been amazing. And one thing to note, and we've chatted about it before, I don't have to staff someone. I don't have to reach out to IT. I can make all the changes myself, or somebody internal with no experience can do it. I would 100% recommend this product to anybody who's considering redesigning a site or putting it on a different platform than what they currently use.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Thank you, Michael. That was fantastic. Jonathan, would love to get your input on some things about Sitefinity most recently. And let me just take a moment and say, if anybody on the audience has questions, we are going until 10:45. If you'd like to post your questions in here, we'll try to get to as many of them as possible. So please feel free to do that. Jonathan, can you talk to us a little more about the recent enhancements that Sitefinity has made?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been spending a lot of time with the newest Microsoft technology. So we haven't explicitly mentioned that, but Sitefinity runs off Microsoft technologies, the .NET stack to be specific. So we've created what we call a new editing interface, and along with that, we have new abilities with the controls over the page, the simplicity. It's already easy, as you saw, but we've changed it to hopefully make it even easier. More control for marketers and editors through that particular interface. And more what you see is what you get capability. So you don't even have to necessarily even preview the particular page. We've also spent a lot of time in the journey analysis market. So Insight is our platform for tracking journey analysis. It's a customer data platform, if you will. So you might integrate multiple sources into it. In an example of a casino, you may check, you got your little cards, right? And you stick them in the machine. So, John Reed came to the casino. Well, of course, that data isn't necessarily in the web, right? So we may bring a nightly batch over that John visited the casino. Next time he comes to the website, let's give him a personalized experience, right? So these are a lot of the enhancements that we've really been focused on. AI content generation. So this is generative AI, prompt-based content. So when Michael was showing us interacting with a content block, we can now give it some prompts and it can create the content for us. And this will be through Azure OpenAI. We can also auto tag content. There's even machine learning within our Insight platform where we might want to increase a particular conversion, getting to certain pages, consuming more promos. And again, we're kind of sticking to the casino idea here. We place a widget onto a page, maybe even a page template, and we say we'd like to drive X conversion, whatever that conversion might be. It'll look at 6 months worth of traffic and say, hey, look, this is the next best step we expect you to do in order to complete that conversion, all behind the scenes, of course, with machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we've been focusing in a lot, much like the rest of the world, in AI-related areas, Insight platforms, journey analysis, and more marketing tools within the application itself.
Cool. And what about types of security features that are available out of the box in Sitefinity?
Yeah, great question. We are SOC 2 certified out of the box. We also include a web security module right out of the gate. So this is to protect you from cross-scripting, DDoS attacks, these types of events, and it is self-configurable, right? So you go into the back end of Sitefinity, and it's point and click. So for example, maybe you'd like to bring in a JavaScript library to do something fancy. It's something you can do in Sitefinity, but you have to allow it through, ensuring that it's safe. This might be done by IT, but it could also be done by somebody with administrative capabilities. So we have what we call the web security module. With our cloud environment, we include a web application firewall, as well as additional security benefits, as mentioned, HIPAA compliance and some ISO certifications. There's about 20 other ones, which I won't exhaust you with right now. But there are a few additional security features that come with the cloud environment as well. But just to be clear, you can host Sitefinity on your own or use our platform or software as a service model as well.
Wonderful. Great. And then what about integrations? I know one of the big things with Sitefinity too is integrations with other systems. We've integrated Sitefinity with even home built systems, backend systems
Right.
that customers have. Can you tell us a little more about how integrations, or what are the most common integrations you see with Sitefinity?
So one of our most recent enhancements to Sitefinity is what we call the integration hub. It connects with thousands of different platforms and integrates with different service hooks or publishing points or form submission points or login events within the Sitefinity application. So with no code, you can integrate with your favorite MarTech stack, or you can integrate with other data sources as well if you'd like to bring in content into the system. Maybe you do have an internal system that has most of the data you want to present, promotions, or maybe present locations or whatever, but you need to augment it with some other information like imagery or tagging or categorization. You can bring those in nightly batches or real time or what have you with no code. We also have, again, as alluded to a moment ago, we do have service hooks. So you might collect that information up in your favorite iPaaS type of solution. So we do many of different types of integrations with no code. Of course, if you feel like taking a deeper path, we of course have all sorts of APIs and other things to interact with as well.
Cool. And then lastly, on content governance, content freshness, how does one ensure content and information are not stale?
Are you looking at my demonstrations too often? I use a food site, but I'm kidding. So we do have a feature actually relatively new, I believe in the 15 timeframe, which is called outdated content. It's a feature that you can enable within Sitefinity and set parameters around when you would like to revisit content, right? Staleness, if you will, or it's labeled as outdated content in the back end. In fact, it'll alert you via our notification center to say, hey, you haven't interacted with this news article, meaning published it, right, or modified it within whatever parameter you set up. Let's say 90 days by default, or 180, that's 6 months, right? It'll alert you in the notification center or via email that, hey, you haven't interacted with this particular content in this period of time. Maybe you should. And that could be something, again, in the promotion standpoint. Oh, you have a promotion, you haven't interacted with it with 30 days, and you realize maybe, oh, we forgot to unpublish it, or whatever the situation is, right? Or you need to keep your terms and condition pages up to date, or those types of things. You want to revisit those in a timely fashion. We have a feature for you to enable outdated content, and there are filters in the back end to also facilitate this as well. So another great new feature that's come along the way in Sitefinity.
Awesome. So this question is for everybody here. What would you guys recommend for a company that's interested in making the transition from WordPress to Sitefinity? Where should they start?
Aside from calling me? No.
Yeah.
I was just going to jump in and say, get a demo on the product, and then find a preferred partner to assist you if you need further assistance. But ultimately, once you really dive into the product, and it doesn't take much, and start seeing how it functions and how it can function for you, that's the first step in really taking some of the burden of managing a website off. It makes it very easy. Just see how it works.
Yeah. Awesome. Jonathan, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, obviously, yeah, let's get on a demo. We do have hosted trials as well. So, you can go try it on your own today. So definitely, take it for a spin on your own. What's great about that is it's developer friendly and marketing friendly, or author editor friendly. So if you wanted your IT staff to get involved with it as well, you can invite them to this trial, and they could even download the code and make custom components if you needed to. So yeah, let's get a trial. Let's get on the phone and happily give you a demonstration, to meet your business needs.
And what I would recommend as well, because what you don't want to do too is just make a Xerox copy of an old site to just take it to Sitefinity, unless you already have a lot of good functionality. But I think take a moment to say, what else can we do with Sitefinity that we haven't been able to do in WordPress? And take advantage of that extensibility and those components, features, integrations that could help you take your website to another level in terms of, because I think for us at Visus, we look at two different sides of the coin. Sitefinity can do a tremendous job with customer engagement, with customer experience, but can do just as an amazing job internally with marketing operations, making ops a lot more efficient. And I think if you look at both sides of that coin, you can really take advantage of the platform. So very cool.
In that note, Michael, there are efficiencies that could be made as well. We talked about promotions and how Michael was managing those individually on pages or posts, as they might be called in the WordPress realm, right? And he had to go find them and didn't often know where they were. So sometimes that inventory of transitioning to, a content management system where you have news or blog post or promotions or locations or whatever as a centrally managed thing will drastically increase your productivity. And as Michael A pointed out to us, I mean, he doesn't have to have a huge amount of staff in order to make sure that all three of his current entities are always up to date and being taken care of, and about to roll in a fourth one. And again, Michael A, you don't have to hire any more staff to do the fourth one, right?
Yeah, no, I won't.
Yeah,
I
so
literally
that's
will
beautiful.
not.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, I mean, a good chance to inventory your content and information during that transition process. Something that you might be doing manually on many posts or pages or whatever they might be called in your current system can be centrally managed from one place in Sitefinity and be propagated to many different pages or even different channels, meaning you could expose it to a mobile app, a kiosk in the casino, assuming it could, consume a RESTful API or an API. You could expose Sitefinity content anywhere.
Awesome. So let's go over one last question and we'll wrap it up so we can stay on time here. Jonathan, can you maybe share with the audience, WordPress has a big marketplace of plugins, tools.
For sure.
But Sitefinity also has a marketplace too. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do have a marketplace. It is facilitated a lot of times by our trusted partners, and it's also reviewed by Sitefinity staff before something is published. So that is definitely a difference in my understanding of our WordPress, or our between us and WordPress.
Yeah, awesome, good stuff. Wonderful. Well, in the interest of time and making sure we wrap up on time, I want to thank you, Michael, for joining us and sharing your experience. It's always great working with you and seeing you. Jonathan, you as well, all your input on Sitefinity. Thank you for that. And
Pleasure.
Charlene, thank you for organizing this webinar. Hopefully it's been helpful for everybody. Both Jonathan and I are available for questions post the webinar. So if anybody wants to follow up on any questions or topics that we brought up, we're happy to do so. Charlene, I'll hand it over to you to wrap things up.
Yeah, that's all we have for today. So thank you for our speakers, Michael from Visus and Michael from Chumash Casino. Great job today. And thank you for everybody attending today. We appreciate you taking the time out.
Wonderful.
And that's it.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
All right.